सो हे गाइस व्हाट्स अप, दिस इज मानशु एंड वेलकम बैक टू व्हाट वी गोइंग चैनल। सो गाइस बेसिकली आज मैंने एक इंटरव्यू रिकॉर्डिंग का वीडियो डाला है। सो ऐसे मैं काफ़ी इंटरव्यूज लेते रहता हूँ, बट बेसिकली ये इंटरव्यू ना मुझे लगा कि काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है और काफ़ी कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन मैंने यहाँ पे पूछे हैं, इसलिए मैंने इसको यहाँ पे डाला है। ठीक है। सो बेसिकली जो इंटरव्यू है उनको बेसिकली 2 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है रिएक्ट जेएस में, एंड उसी को ध्यान रखते हुए मैंने ये इंटरव्यू इनसे लिया है। ठीक है। एंड बेसिकली इस पूरे इंटरव्यू को कंज्यूम करने का सबसे अच्छा वे ये है ना कि सपोज मैंने कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछा तो वहाँ पे आप पॉज करो वीडियो को और खुद से एक बार सॉल्व करो। आपसे अगर नहीं होता है देन आप वीडियो को आगे देखो। ठीक है, उससे आप भी सीखोगे एंड आपको भी कॉन्फिडेंस गेन होगा। ठीक है। एंड ऑफ कोर्स मैंने यहाँ पे ज़्यादा कट्स नहीं लगाया तो वीडियो हल्का लंबा होगा, काफ़ी जो पॉज होगा, क्योंकि वो लोग उसको सॉल्व कर रहे होते हैं क्वेश्चन, तो वहाँ पे उनको टाइम देना पड़ता है। ठीक है। तो सबको पेशेंस रख के आपको अच्छे से देखना है एंड लेट्स स्टार्ट द वीडियो। स्टार्ट। ओके, वेलकम टू द इंटरव्यू। इट्स आवर second round and we'll talk about the react js and somewhat js topics as well for for the interview. So prior to starting, can you give a bit introduction about yourself so that we can have an idea about
Yeah,
you?
so
Thank you.
sure, Himanshu. Like, thank you for this opportunity. And now I'm so my name is Muhammad Farhan, and I have around 2 years of experience in a front end, and mostly I have goes through the technology that is ReactJs, JavaScript, HTML5, and then CSS3. This technology I have worked on, and some touch I have done with the Node.js and PHP Angular. Some basic knowledge I have on to that. So recently I was working at a 358 Technology Private Limited,
Okay.
and my role was that as an associate developer, and mostly I was getting a Figma design and was implementing that. So that's all about me.
Okay. Okay, that is good. Also I can see you have worked in two companies, right? And you have
Yes.
made like two products as well. That is fine. Okay, so we'll start with the interview now. Okay, so let's start with react.js only first. So do you know in the react.js we have a concept of data binding, right? So can you tell me, is it a one-way binding or a two-way binding in the react.js?
So
Yeah.
so in the React, data is a one-way data binding is there. Data is one-way
Okay.
data binding they provide, and Angular that they provide a two-way data binding. And data binding like a one-way, it's mean like it's going to be transferred data from the parents to the child.
Okay, and let's say if I want to pass the data from child to parent, then how can we achieve that?
So we have to make a one callback into parents component, and we have to pass into the child component as a props, and then we have to call from that parents. Then using that we can achieve that.
That is good, correct. Okay, one more thing, we have a concept of virtual DOM and the real DOM, right, in the react.js. So can you tell me what is it?
So virtual DOM is the same. It's a blueprint of the DOM, and it in a React when we are going to implement something, when we are doing some changes like a node we are creating, it's not a directly we are changing in a DOM. Firstly, it's going to change into that virtual DOM, and after that, it's going to be changes like it's going to like one reconciliation method is coming. That is basically is going to like identify which node we have to update. So it's going to identify, and after identifying, it's going to update that DOM.
Okay, you have used a term, right? Reconciliation.
Reconcil-
Can you explain a bit more on that? What is that
So
actually?
reconciliation basically what we do when we are doing some creating a node or something. So it's like a process that basically help us to identify that which part we have to like which part we have to update it.
Right.
After identifying it, also update that part only. Only that part is going to be updated. So that process is like coming under the reconciliation.
That is right. Okay. So with the help of these concepts, uh, our framework becomes faster, right? The
Yes.
React.js, it is faster.
Ji. Ji.
So we have heard about these that it makes it faster. But can you give me one use case where React.js is slower compared to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript?
Okay. So
Any one scenario it's coming on your mind where we should not use React.js. We should use the core concepts like HTML, CSS, and JS.
So recently, I am not sure about it. I don't have, but recently one article I have goes through that in a Netflix, like they have moved some part of that code into fully vanilla JavaScript, and they have achieved like a full, I mean, high speed compared to React. Netflix is fully built in, I mean, in a React.js. So I think that part was searching or something. I'm not fully sure, but for searching, I think we can do that. Debouncing is also there, but I think I'm not sure about it.
Okay, okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, so in the React we have a concept of life cycle methods, right? It
G.
was used earlier in the class component side. So do you know what are those? If you can give a bit idea on that.
Yes. So in a life cycle method, there is basically three method is there. Firstly is going to be mounting, updating, and unmounting. In a mounting is that when the DOM is going to be created, initially when the DOM is creating, updating in there, updating when some state and props is going to be changed, so re-rendering is going to be happen. So that is the updating part, and component will unmount. Sorry, and unmount is there when that component is going to be destroyed or removed. In mounting, we use a component will mount, and the component will update, and uh, component will destroy. A component will destroy us. Component will unmount. Sorry, component will unmount. That method we use.
Okay, okay. So use effect is there, right? Do you know about that?
Yes,
So
yes,
use effect, what do you call, replaces few concepts of this one life cycle, like few properties. Do you know about those? What are those properties of the life cycles which are replaced by use
yes.
effect? Yeah.
So like mostly like initially when we are rendering that we can like component mount we can remove that. Component will update we can remove that because in a props in a dependency we can pass state and props which is going to be work as a like a component, I mean updating state, and we can come and destroy method we can remove that.
Destroyers, do you know the name of that property?
Component will unmount, sorry, yeah.
That is right. Okay.
So
One more question on the same. In the React.js, we have a concept of JSX, right?
G.
So do you know how browser reads that JSX?
Okay, so JSX basically is the JavaScript XML, I mean extensible markup language. It help us to it allow us to write a HTML code. So basically, when we are writing JSX, it's not going to be understandable by the browser. So Babel is coming into the picture. That what the code we are going to write it, that is going to be transcompiled by the Babel, and then it's going to be converted, and like a browser is going to be understand that code.
Converted
So
into what?
I mean object
No,
transcom.
it is converted into the browser readable format, that is HTML, CSS, and JS. That's how the browser reads it. That is correct. Okay, okay. It was good.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. One more question I'd ask on the React. We have a concept of export, right? We export a lot of things from one component to other. Okay, like that. So there are two things in the export. Do you know means what are those? Like two ways to export. Do you know what
So
are those?
so basically they have to like export default and that fully function name, and then export just function we want to know. If we are giving export default and then function name, so it's going to export full function, like full component is going to be exported. But if some method we have built it and that only we want to export it, so we can just export it, and I mean export and then function name we can use it.
Uh, okay. Can you share your screen once?
Sure, it's visual.
Yeah. Can you open any of the correlator? There will be
It's
JS folder.
React.js.
No, no, simple JS folder also is fine.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you write those two things? The named export and the default export. Like how do you write? I just want to know that syntax.
Okay, so the const just we are going to give the function and function name just like do some. So function name we have given
Uh,
some do some, and just we have. So normally if we want to export this function, just we are going to export it, and this is the one way. The other way is there, like when we build something, we build it something, and now we want to export default, and then like do some.
and can you also write how do you import it in the other file?
Okay, so firstly, if this one we want to import it, so in a like React, there have the naming convention. If we are making some components,
In
so name should be like
in the
the
React perspective
camels.
only I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, so name should be like
Naming is fine. Yeah, that I can get it. Just right.
function should not do some. Okay, so names. If for importing it, so import perspective, what we can do. So in import, if the first one we are going to import it, so we have to import it like sorry, just, and then file name where we have install it, like the file path we have to give, and others like if we want to import it, this
This
one,
is which export?
the first one,
Tell me the name.
do some like do some, this one for
I mean,
first
it's
one.
a default export, right? That is
Yeah,
fine.
default export. Default for default export, we have to just give like sorry, sorry, just import some from, and the file name like from where it's coming, like this one for the second one.
Yeah. In the first one, you have missed from. You can add that as
Sorry,
well.
so
That is correct. Okay, fine. Uh, let's move on to the next question. One question is there. Synthetic events in React.js. Do you know what are those?
synthetic events. No, sorry.
You know
Like
about events, right?
yeah, I know events like
So
click
we
events.
already have an event, right? Suppose once you go to the form and you write e there, right? Once you call a function in the form, we write e as an
Event.
event. So by default, JS has a event, but still we have something called synthetic event in the React JS. Do you know why it has came? Even if you don't know what are those, do you know why it is there? Why we use that? By any chance?
Mm, so event,
That is
maybe
okay.
to get access parents or something, like because event.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. Mm, I think to get access parents window access or something, that could be, or
Okay, okay. Not an issue. That is fine. That's fine. We'll move on to next question. Uh, while doing map, right? Once you do some API calls and all right,
yes,
we use map to loop, right? So we
yes,
always use a key while mapping. You know that.
yes.
Why do we use key always? Why do we need key?
So yeah, so key basically help us to identify like which element we have rendered it. Like if we want to perform some operation like add operation and delete operation, it is going to help us to identify that okay, this element is going to be clicked, this element have we have selected. So it help us to identifying the element.
That is one reason. Yeah, but in the React perspective, also there is one more reason. Yeah,
Okay.
why do
And
we use key?
and
Okay, that is
other,
fine. One more question on the same line. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. Go ahead, go ahead. Sorry
so
for interrupting.
other things that could be like performance, like no performance like uh, yeah, I think that only.
That is okay. That is okay. One more thing. Is it a good practice to use index as an key? or not?
No, I will say it's not a good because when we are we want something in a order way manner. So it won't show in order. So because index when we are using an index, so it's not a good. We have always used like some IDs there, some keys there that we have to use. If it's not a given, then it's good to use index.
Cool, cool. Okay. Okay. You have you for API calling, what to use in the React?
Mostly I use a fetch and XCOs I know, but mostly I use a fetch.
Okay. So can you tell me fetch is an synchronous or asynchronous function by default?
Fetch is so fetch. It's asynchronous. I think I'm just guessing it. I think asynchronous.
What is it?
Asynchronous.
Asynchronous. Okay. Okay, I have given you one question in your chat box in the
Sure.
code rough work. Can you can see here once only I think, and can you tell me the output of this? Yeah,
So okay, yeah, sure.
yeah. Or you can copy as well. We can try to run in the JS fiddle, not an issue. But prior to running, just tell the output first.
So firstly we are calling then return value. What is coming? Yeah.
I would
So
request you
hello
to
world.
share the screen if it's possible.
Yeah,
I think we're not sharing. Yeah,
okay. So normally, if we, without async, if we are going to use it, so the result is going to be the hello world. But that async have used, so result I think maybe that is going to be undefined. I think undefined.
undefined.
Yeah.
Okay, let's save it.
Object and promise async. That's why it's written.
So it is throwing a promise.
Promise.
So we need to handle this later to get the output. That is okay. On the same line, one more question I'm just pinging you. Okay, wait. So guys, अगर आप भी फरहान की तरह एक वन टू मॉक इंटरव्यू बुक करने में इंटरेस्टेड हो, then definitely आप वो बुक कर सकते हो. मैंने डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक दिया हुआ है और फर्स्ट कमेंट में लिंक दिया है. आप वहाँ जाके आप मेरे साथ एक कॉल स्केड्यूल कर सकते हो इन टॉप में, एंड आई कैन डेफिनेटली टेक योर मॉक इंटरव्यू. ठीक है? इन द चैट बॉक्स.
Okay.
Can you? Okay. So don't worry. Can you clear the console and run this? Save it.
Hello, bye.
You're saying
Undefined.
it's coming hello, undefined, and bye, right?
Yes.
I just want you to fix this. I want the actual output as Himanshu. Hello, Himanshu, bye. And prior to that, if you can means explain why it is coming undefined.
Okay. So mm, the single function is there. One function they have called. Now they are trying. They need to access. So first of all, the name. What the name they have passed? They are checking in into the global. Like, sorry. Just give me a minute.
Sure, sure, take your time.
Mm.
No worries.
Okay. And then once they are just printing it. Okay. So so here basically what is happening, like some we are passing some params. like and we are getting as a name, and we are trying to console it. So here what this one is going to be in a async call. So in an event loop it's going to be put it there in a task queue. So now the name, that value, like uh, name is coming as a like argument. It's not somewhere declared it. So it's going to be not a define anywhere.
Name is passed as an argument. That is true. At line number 15, you can see async me,
Yeah.
and the name is passed. So the name is going in inside line number 10 again because we are calling that. But when coming to set timeout, it's not able to fetch that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is fine. If means even if you can't explain, can you fix this code? And let me know if you want any hint on the same.
Okay. So can I do some changes in a code or like
Go
what?
ahead, go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
So you want it should be print as a hello name and like a bye.
yeah.
So, so what's the normal function? If we try to, see,
Not an issue, Farhan.
okay,
Probably
sure.
you can park that question for later. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know about promises, right?
Yeah, I have some basic knowledge on
Yeah. So in the promise, we have something called promise.all and promise.all settled, right? Have you heard
it.
about these terms?
Promise dot.
All and promise.all settled.
Yeah, promise dot all. I have heard it and settled. Not a more idea on it. I have.
Okay. Can you tell me what is that?
Okay, so promise all, like when we are like handling more and more promises, and so it's good to wrap up into that one inside the one promise. So promise all what it took, it take like multiple promises and it resolve it and it give the output that it do at once.
That is correct. Okay. But there is some catch, like suppose one fails or like all fails, then how does it work in that case? Do you know?
So I mean, if it's going to be one fail, so all is going to be, I think, fail begin a promise.
Okay,
All if
fine. I am giving you one list of APIs. Okay, can you copy this? And I want you to call all the API in a sequential manner.
okay.
You can copy from the chat. Yeah,
So you want the first API call should be happen like
yeah. So since API calling is an asynchronous thing, so it won't call like means one by one. So it will go like first means one will be called or let's three will be called. Okay, but I want to call all the thing in a sequential manner. Like first API output should come first, and second come second, and third should come third. Uh, okay.
hello.
Hello. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm audible.
your voice got a break. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Yeah. Can you go to the JS file again? Yeah. So can you just print the output of this thing, like call the API and just show me the output in a sequential manner. So it is basically what do you call this? Multiple API call thing. So I just want to know that how do you call multiple APIs in a sequential manner? That's it.
So in a sequencing manner, promise dot all we can use that is going to be give the result in a sequence manner. Promise dot all.
Okay, let's try.
Not enough. Okay, if we want in a sync, we want to then we want to pass. So, we have, okay, no, I'm not forgetting parameters. Okay, so since in a sequence manner, okay, so using the sync and wait also we can write. I think. I mean, I know it promises dot like all we can use it, but some syntax I am forgetting. So just I'm trying to using that sync and wait and then trying to solve that problem.
So promise syntax is promise dot all if you'll do, and you
Promises
can make an array inside that. You can call all of them.
like array. Okay.
But you need to first do the API calling first, and then you need to pass that here. So you need to do first API calling. You can't directly just pass 1, 2, 3, right? You need to do API calling. No worries. Let me know if you're comfortable, or we can hop on to the next question as well.
Mm, okay. Once I tried
Yeah,
to
sure. Take
do
your time.
fetch if we are trying to but synchronous it won't happen. Okay, next yeah, sorry, next question, can you
Okay, we can park this one. Okay, let's come back to React.js again. Okay. So in the React.js now we have something called fragment, right? In React.
G-
Do you know why do we use that? First,
so
first show me like how do you write that fragment if
so
you can
fragment
derive
basically
it.
we are writing like I mean
That
this
is
is an
correct.
empty bracket open bracket
Correct.
and like react dot fragment also, but now they are not using, that was a old one.
Correct. Do you know why do we write this?
Sorry.
Why can't we? Means I mean, why do we write this? Why can't we just write div? Why we are
Okay,
writing fragment?
so
Yeah.
when we are creating some div, so in a div in a node some like space is going to be occupied, but when we are wrapping up like all the component or element using the fragment, it's not going to create any space or node, it's not going to be created, so that space is not going to be occupied. So you for that purpose we are using fragment.
That is right. Correct. Okay. Okay. Do you know about hooks? Have you used hooks in your
G-
website?
yes.
Can you tell me some of them?
So like basically use state, use effect, and then use ref is there. These are like use memo is there, use callback is there, use reducer is there, but mostly I goes through that use state and use effect. That
Okay. Can you tell me what is use effect hook?
okay. So use effect basically used to perform that side effect in the functional component, such as like fetching a data and some subscription something we have to do, then we are going to use a use effect. In a use effect the first argument is going to be that set up and then second they are going to take the argument dependency. In a setup, what the logic we are going to write it, and in dependency we are basically passing that like state and props.
Okay.
So if
Can you write the syntax of use effect here,
yeah, yeah, sure.
please?
Use effect. So basically we perform use effect. So if we are passing going to here, we basically pass logic, we are going to write some logic. If we are passing as a empty like dependency, it's going to act as a component mount, mounting, like
That is
initially it's going to be.
that is fine. Uh, can you remove that empty bracket from here? Yeah, just remove
Yeah,
it. So is it a right syntax or a wrong syntax?
uh, it's a right syntax, but the in loop like this one is going to infinite, like loop it's going to be. So infinite, it's right, but the loop is going to be infinite.
Got it. Correct. Okay. So one more ref we have. I mean one more hook we have. Use ref, right?
Yes.
Do you know what is that?
So use ref basically we use to manipulate the DOM. If we have to manipulate the DOM, we are using.
But we use effect for that, right? For to change the DOM, or
No,
use state for that for changing
no.
the data and DOM.
Damn, using the use effect, we are not actually like we are actually handling when we are using use state. It's going to handle virtual DOM. But when we are using use effect, then directly we can modify the DOM, manipulate the DOM.
Okay. So by DOM means you mean what? What we can change? What is the
Like
difference between like use a state and use effect?
okay, so use state is basically we use to hold the some value, holding value, like it's going to contain some value, and if that is going to update it, then re-rendering is going to be happen. Mostly like it's in simple word, it's like storing the value, and if that is going to be updated, like some event is going to be happen, it's going to. And some use ref is there, some we want in an input like some focus we want or something
Yeah.
use ref.
Basically on the HTML tags or the HTML means elements, it will work directly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But with the use ref, we can also change data as well, how we used to do with the use state as well. But we don't do that with use ref. Do you know why? Like you change the suppose we have a counter value, right? That can be changed from use state also and use ref also. But we don't use ref to do those. Do you know why? Any reason?
So yeah, I think that could be that one reason that mostly we are trying to update that virtual DOM. Not we are not React come only because of that speed, and if we are going to update that like virtual DOM, we have to handle it. Not like actually data we have to like update it. If we are going to update the actual DOM, so it's going to whole redundant things will happen. So mostly when we are using use state, that component is only is going to be re-rendered. But if we are going to use a use ref, the whole component like is going to re-render.
Okay, okay. There is one more concept of forward ref.
Sorry.
Uh, there is one more concept of forward ref in the React.js. Do you know about that?
No, sorry.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Okay, we'll move forward. Uh, can you tell me the difference between authentication and authorization?
Authentication basically like or authorization. Authentication is basically when we are authentication.
You can give
Authentication
some
is like
example as well.
giving, yeah, like when we are okay. So authentication is basically when We are giving some access to that, like some web page we are building, some login we are building. So firstly they need authentication, like okay, this guy have an account or not. So authentication they need, authorization who is giving that access to that,
Sorry, who
like
is
okay,
giving?
permission he have to access or not, that checking part.
Okay. So in these both we use a concept of token, right? While
Yes.
doing authentication. Do you know what's its use?
JWT token mostly everyone use JWT.
So why do we use that token? How does that token helps in this thing?
So JWT token is going to help when, just assume it, someone is going to be login, and login just have. So when someone is going to be login, so in a virtually they are going to create some ID of that, and that ID is going to be stored into the cache. And so when the next time when he is coming now, so he don't need to again log in, he just will go on a Facebook and directly he can log in. And in like some time period of that, like 7 days, 10 days, some time period is there for the JWT token is.
Okay. So token basically helps in authorization.
Oh yeah, yeah, authorization.
Cool. Okay. So in the in the React we have a concept of passing the data from parent to child, right?
Yes.
So suppose we have a like list of childs, like five childs, six childs, okay. But I want
Okay.
to send the data to the sixth child only from the first parent. How can we do that in the React?
So in that situation, like we have to make a global state. So like a context API is there and the redux is there. So firstly we have to make it like one global state, and then after that we have to use it, we have to pass it. Like if we are using like a context API, so inside that component like provider dot content, I mean, you can use a redux and context API that is going to pass data from child to component, like parent, I mean sorry,
Okay, okay, that is fine. Okay. So you talked about Redux, right? Can
okay.
you tell me the building blocks of the Redux, like how the Redux cycle works basically?
So basically cycle, like they have three main pillars, like action reducer and then action reducer and store. These three are the main pillar of that redux. So action is basically when we are going to do some, perform some action, like on click on any like event, anything we are going to do, that action is going to contain like some payload they are going to contain it, and that payload is going to pass into the reducer. So reducer basically take the previously value and then current state, previously state and current state, and it's going to update it, like check it which state is modified, which state haven't modified, and it's going to update that state. After that state is going to be modified, it's going to be in a like a storage, and storage is like a going to update that. So that life cycle is going to be.
Okay. So what are the hooks involved in the Redux? There are two famous hooks involved, yeah, involved. Do you know the names of those?
Hooks, dispatch is there, and use selector is there. Use selector to grab that value, and dispatch is there that is going to perform like a to action.
Okay.
So use reducer, sorry, use reducer.
Use dispatch and use set. That was correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And one more thing, when to use Redux over context API? Like when we choose context API or when should we choose this on Redux? Do you know about that?
So mostly if our like state management, global state management is going to literally complex, then we have, or it's going to be little large application if have, then we have to move on to the redux part. If the application is literally small, and then we have to stick with that context API.
Uh, it is not fully dependent on the application size actually. It depends on the number of state calling or the number of state, management you are doing in that application. That's when you should choose. That is fine. I've sent you one link, okay? Can you open that and share the screen? It's online React editor. I think you're not sharing. Okay. Yeah, scroll down. Yeah, okay. Just hold on. I'm just sending you one code. Just copy and just entirely paste it here, okay?
Sure.
Just send you in the chat box. Do you want in the code rough box? Code rough work? That's fine. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. Don't. Okay, fine. Don't run. Okay. So here we have one handle click, okay? And it is trying to increase the counter. So can you tell me once we click on this button, this click button, what will be the output?
Okay, so here like one counter, if you are going to click, one is going to be output, because in a set they are going to identify it like some one and two. I think one and two. One is going to be output.
No, I mean at the line number 16, right? Count. What will be the value of count? That is what I want. Just.
Okay, 16. So one is going to be output.
And if you click again,
So again, now the count value, then it's going to be two.
okay. Uh, can you test?
Sure.
Click again. Click again. Okay. So why it is happening? I am trying to increase 4 times, right? Still it is increasing only one.
So in a React, I think some built-in method is React behavior. I think the use state behavior is that. Then if we are trying to do same thing like updating state and then counting, we are trying to update it. That reasons like, so it won't update like.
Yeah, I mean it's not updating, that is right, but I just want to know why it is not updating. Ideally, I was expecting 4, right? Because there are 4 count plus 1, but it's still showing 1, so it's failing. My expectation is failing here. Okay, let's park that reason. But can you fix this? Like I want it, like once we click, right? I want it to be 4.
So just we can do what we can do. Just
No,
we
no, no,
can.
no, 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 no.
ma-
You, no, not this way. I want it to be calling 4 times only.
Okay.
Do Control Z. Yeah, it should call 4 times only. But actually, I want it to be updated.
So for time it should be there, and so here what we can do. Okay. 4 times we have to call it.
Yeah, it
We
will
can't
call
remove.
as it is. Yeah, 4 times only. Yeah, but I wanted to increase it to 4 because we have like 4 times count plus 1, right? So it should go to 4. Let me know if you want any hint.
Okay, so I think count we can use count plus or something, we can do operation here. So count plus one we can do, and then count perform the object. Then suggest. Wait, can I get some hint?
Yeah, you need to pass a callback function inside set count.
Back function. inside the set.
Yeah.
We call the function basically.
Think it in a this way that it's an asynchronous call is happening here, okay? So it's not waiting, it's just going forward and forward, okay? To stop that, we use callback, right? We use promise also, but we use callback also. Uh, so here that thing is there. It is JavaScript only. It's not React also here. But that is fine. I think we are going over our time. Okay. So you can park this question. And one last question I have for you. That is for the machine coding round. Okay. I am giving you. You just copy this and paste it here itself. Okay. The entire thing you paste it here itself. Let me know if you're facing difficulty in copying. I'll give it in code rough box also. Let me just give it only. Okay, you're able to copy. Fine. Yeah. So as it says, I want you to build an accordion. Okay. And if by any chance you are not aware of what it is, I'm giving you a link. Can you please open that link?
Sure.
Yeah. Scroll down. Sorry. Is it opening complete bootstrap link or what? No, no, not
Bootstrap.
bootstrap. No, no, no. Can you go to the link again? Click on yeah, yeah, yeah. See. Above. Yeah, this is what you want. Yeah, I mean that was right. Once you see, once you click on the first one, click on the first accordion. It's opening. Okay. Click on
Hmm.
it again. It's off. Click again. One is open, but keep it open. Keep it open. Go to the second one. See, the first one is closing again, right? So I want this one, auto closing. Okay.
Okay.
If I click on the second accordion, the first one should close. It should not be open. Okay. And I have given you the dummy data as well. Can you go to the code again? So you have, see, FAQ, and you have ID, title, and description. Title should be the heading of the accordion, and description should be inside the accordion. Uh, yeah. And I'm not asking for the best practices also. You means you can just code however you want. I just want the result. That's it.
Sure.
You have 20 minutes. Okay.
Just need a kind user effect, read of that user effect. Next is going to be first and detail. So how we are going to modify that? Let me do this. This. Okay, so this movement. So now I'm going to remember to order it. Let's go. So content, so content we have some. Now I'm going to click on it. So when I click, so we can't wait it. Okay, so when I click, what we will do, we are going to send the some data. We are going to send it some data. So just we are sending item dot id. So item dot id we are going to send keyword. Okay, we have created student id. Okay, so id firstly. Okay, so like if I'm going to create, sorry. Okay, so like if I'm going to create, sorry, Monday. Okay, now I got it. ID, and then if we are going to get the ID, then let fetch description. Ds description, we are going to fetch the description. So we are just going to get this one error dot filter and item. Sorry. Okay, firstly we can pass an item of first one ID and the value of the second. If that ID if we ID to once just ID selected selected okay. 0 initially we are going to actually t selected what it will do, it will going to get that index and we are going to paste that data and what the description they are going to have. So just we are going to show here. Okay. So now here we will get that what they have selected. If P is there, then only we are going to show something. Okay, so we are going to wrap it. We are going to wrap it. And we are going to select it. So here's item we have picked. Here's something. Yes, body to the child. Sorry. Sorry. So basically, the unit is something, something. They are returning array object. Should return something. Okay, they should return the whole object they are returning it. Okay, sorry. JTH. Sorry. So here also we have to take because filter array is going to return. So you forget it. So just let me into bracket or something. So what I'm going to get it. If I want to it, we are going to get. Okay. So we are going to get some array object. Array object. Now what we have to do? We are going to get a simple array object. So dot lemgth if it's greater than 0. I mean in some data if there. So what we are going to do? We are going to do indexing dot this. We are just going to grab this one. Now we don't need to any description. So something find it. Now we find it. Okay. Okay. So it should be little down. Okay. So it should be happy with this deal. And then so it should hide and show. So when we are going to click on some state is going to be changed, and if the state is going to be true, then we have to show this one. So I'm just simply I'm doing like this code. Oh, sorry, it's coming now, but like okay. I got it. What this is that? Um, It's working fine now. We are going to it, but it's coming until bottom. It should come after this. So what we have to do, we have to just put it here, and we have to just if something did happen, then we have to okay. Okay, now it's clicked for all. Okay, so month and okay, one test case we can write it. So take a hand. We need to do an ID, not to the selected. Okay, selected ID. We also have to set it here. What we can do here before showing that we can check that which item they have. Okay, which so it's going to be, and we are also going to check selected dot id is there, and here we have to show it. So here we are length dot should be there, and mm, selected id selected id okay selected id equal to index oh sorry not index sorry id that id is the out of case here item.id, item.id. So this
Farhan?
yes,
Yeah, last 4 minutes are remaining.
sure, sure, sure. Item.id is not a different. Item. Where I'm scoping of the whole topic. Okay. Sorry. Okay, one thing, Sanjay. Description of the new property. So that for saying that index is going to be which item they have selected. So that index only. Just remove this one from this one.
Is it opening on the click or not? Let's remove that auto clicking means auto closing one. Let's build a simple one only. Then on click it should open. Is it opening that also or not?
Maybe just I have done some changes constant reading the description. It was working fine if I'm going to just now it's working fine, but it's working fully. Just
Okay, all are opening.
yeah, so I just try to figure out like making some key and storing it.
Yeah,
Selected in ID. So selected ID basically is going to be selected. Okay, I got it. We have to compare both, like which one they have selected. Okay, just for 20 we have to make it.
no worries. You can just tell me the approach because we
Yeah,
don't have, yeah,
yeah. So
perfect time.
what I was thinking, like here I have to pass another one more condition. I have to pass it here and there. Basically, what I'm trying to do, what the index we have passed it now, what the index they have selected, like based on that, like six they have selected. So now what is happening? Whole like is opening.
Yeah,
So here instead of that, what I'm trying to do, if someone have selected one, so that ID I'm going to take that, and that ID only I'm going to show it.
correct. So you need to pass it actually equal to like
Yeah,
you
equal to
need
equal.
to store somewhat in the store means in the state the ID, and here in the FAQ part you need to pass right the uh, choo chosen ID is equal to ID or not. Instead of doing that length you are doing right,
Yes.
you need to pass that equal. So if that both are equal, then only that will means open. But yeah, no worries. That is fine. Okay, we have already passed 1 hour 30 minutes, so I think that is fine. I think I'm done with the interview. You can stop sharing your screen. Yeah. So at last, I think if you have anything to ask, like, then you can go ahead, and then we'll wrap up the interview.
Sure. The second approach I know how to implement, but the things that like it's literally going to take some time for me, but that I could do like
The
accordions
first
that
one you could have made, right? If you had some more time, right?
yeah, some more time that I could.
That is okay. That
Um,
is completely okay.
then
Anything more? Yeah.
yeah, like I mean at the last like I was just want some like I know at the JS I got a stuck at some point.
Yeah.
Some feedback if it's possible then.
Sure, sure, sure. I'll give you the feedback. You need to practice somewhat more in the promises. Okay. You're good with the React, I think, theory and somewhat the beginner part. You are good with the React. In the JS, you need to work on promises. Okay. Some questions and how it works actually behind the scene that you need to practice more. Okay. And somewhat try to work means try to solve some apps, like as I told you, right, to build an accordion. You can try something like pagination, star rating, okay, scroll bar, carousel. So try to build those. Okay, then you'll have some more means hands on, so that you can solve it under the time of 30 minutes or like 45 minutes. Okay, that would be helpful. Yeah, I think we are done with the interview. Thanks for attending and
Yeah,
all the
thank
best.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also guys, apart from mock interviews, अगर आप मेरे साथ एक वन टू मेंटरशिप बुक करना चाहते हो फॉर अ लॉन्ग टर्म, देन यू कैन डेफिनेटली बुक ऑन प्री प्लेस्ड. सो बेसिकली प्री प्लेस्ड में मैंने एक 3 मंथ्स का और 6 मंथ्स का एक लॉन्ग टर्म मेंटरशिप प्लान डाला हुआ है, जहाँ पे हम लोग वन टू वन हर वीक आपसे बात करेंगे और आपको एक कंप्लीट फ्रंट एंड डेवलपमेंट बना के छोड़ेंगे, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम बेसिक टू एडवांस. एंड वहाँ पे सिर्फ डेवलपमेंट नहीं होगा, वहाँ आपको मैं बेसिकली डेवलपमेंट रेडी, इंटरव्यू रेडी एंड जॉब रेडी, मैं आपको सारा कुछ वहाँ पे कराऊंगा. एंड people have already booked LTM plans and they are getting benefits from it. You can definitely check the link, the pre-press link in the description, and you can definitely book a free trial call with me. Okay. So with that, thank you for watching and see you next one.